Hello, I'm Douglas with Other Than Intended Purposes. In a conversation in a forum online recently, I was mentioning the 10 C's list by Dave Canterbury when someone posted that they were new to hiking and wanted to know what they should take on day hikes through the woods. Sorry about my voice. Ever since my last neck surgery, every once in a while my voice does this. I'm not sick, this just happens. But when I put down the list for the 10 C's and then said a couple of additional things that someone might want to carry, there was a few people reacted to, wow, that's way too much to carry on a day hike. And I tried to explain, just because you set out for a 4 or 5 hour day hike doesn't mean you may not twist an ankle or fall and get hurt or just make a wrong turn and get lost. And it might turn into a longer term situation with problems attached. That's a little better. So, I'm making this today to show the variations on the 10 C's. Once again, it's not my list. Dave Canterbury compiled the list. He's a very experienced individual, and I don't want to try and claim his mental product, so I'm just referencing it. But it is a very good list of things to carry. Now, this looks like a ton of stuff, and that's because I've got 3 kits worth of stuff here. I'm showing variations on each item that can give you an idea of what you can do to put together a kit. And at the end of this, I'm going to take a basic one of each items, and I'm going to be packing it up in this. And this is the little day hike pouch I was talking about in the forum that they didn't seem to realize how small it can be. Now, the 10 C's I love it when things go crazy. The 10 C's outline a very basic keep you alive system. It's actually 2 lists. There's the 5 C's of survivability, and then an expanded 10 C's that makes it a little bit easier and a little bit more comfortable. So we're going to do the 2 lists separately, but then combine them when I'm packing that bag up. Also keep in mind that you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive, fanciest, shiny new on the market. A lot of this stuff you probably have in your house, and what you don't have, you can get inexpensive options. Which brings us to our first item. On the first 5 C's, the first item is a cutting tool. Now, if you're going to be out hiking, you need to have some kind of a cutting tool. One of the things you'll be cutting is cordage, but also a way to process materials to start fires. If you need to cut the tape, if you do have an injury and you need to cut the medical tape, having a cutting tool is a good thing. It can be as easy as I've always got a pocket knife in my back pocket. This particular knife I've been carrying for over 10 years. The brand isn't what's important though, but this is just my everyday pocket knife that I always have. I also tend to carry a neck knife. This is very lightweight. I can barely even tell I'm wearing it, but it's sharp and it can do a lot of the small, quick, cut a piece of string, cut a piece of rope, cut a piece of tape, whatever, open a package, something like that. The next level up is a fixed blade knife, and it is, if you're going to be in the woods, it's a good idea to have a fixed blade knife. A fixed blade knife gives you more capability, and you do not have to spend a ton of money. Now, this particular one has been rebranded by Baco, and they sell it with a saw. I put a Ranger band on it to make sure it doesn't fall out because these plastic sheaths don't have any kind of retention thing. But this is a Mora companion. You can get these for between 12 and 15 bucks most places. They have them on Amazon. They have them at the saw shop where I live, where you go in and get your chainsaw serviced. Just about any place. This one's been used. You can tell it's got some dings on it. But I got a blaze orange one because if I drop it, I can find it. And it comes in green, it comes in black. But it's just, a Mora knife is never a bad investment. If you want to move up one step from a Mora, there's a lot of different knives in the $40 to $90 range. This is, now, the coating is stripped off of this one because it got really messed up from a lot of use, so I just wound up stripping it. But this is a Schrade SCHF 36. And it's full tang, where the Mora is a stick tang. So this is stronger just by having that full tang. You don't have a point of weakness in the middle of the handle. It's a 5-inch blade. You don't really need anything bigger than this. A 4 to 5-inch blade is good for 90% of the things you need in the woods. This is not a chopping knife. This is not something you go down and hack down trees with. But you can process small wood for fires. You can process food, anything like that, anything that you would need a knife for. This will do the job. And then now, mostly because I'm excited about it, because I just got this as a gift. This is an LT Wright Bushcrafter. This is a $200 knife. With the sheath and a fire steel, this is about $250. This is the CPM 3V steel. That is hard to say. My tongue gets tied on that one. It's a much higher quality steel. I forgot to mention, this one is stainless steel. Mora also makes carbon steel. I prefer carbon steel for bushcrafting and for hiking and stuff, but stainless does work. This is 1095, which is a high carbon steel. The CPM 3V is an extremely superior steel to either one of those. That's where the price comes, but also that and the fit and the finish. This is just so smooth and so comfortable to use.
Don't think you set the price yet?
Huh?
Don't think you set the price yet?
I did.
Okay.
So that covers your basic cutting tools. I'm going to add one thing to that list, and that would be a multi-tool, because not only is it a cutting tool, it has a file, which if there's, you don't really need a file when you're hiking usually, but it has one. It's got two knife blades on it. It has a very small saw, so if you do need to process wood, make a notch in something, or cut branches off of something for a walking stick or to start fires. And it's got a pair of pliers on it. This is a Leatherman Wave. A good multi-tool is exactly that. It has multiple tools that you can carry on your belt and not even feel the weight of it. Okay, we're going to move away from cutting tools to the second one. Combustion devices. This is one of my favorite areas in bushcrafting. I like being creative when I make my fires. But now, combustion devices can be something really simple. Storm matches. These matches, they're UCO storm matches. Once they're lit, if you dip them in water, pull them back out of the water, they will relight. These will start a fire
Skeeter.
pretty damn good.
Skeeter.
Not anymore. I guess he ordered me for his last meal. These are just, they say waterproof. These are just stick matches. A Bic lighter. quick, easy fire. You know you've got fire with that. If you want to get a little bit more creative, this is a fire kit that I built. Got a couple of sticks of fat wood. There's another Bic lighter in there. A ferro rod. And just for processing that fat wood, in case everything else I have that's sharp has been lost, I have a little bitty knife that I made in my garage. And this is pretty damn sharp. This is A2 tool steel. I can keep all that in an Altoids tin. You'll hear people say, oh, I can put a survival kit in an Altoids tin. I'd like to see them do that. Oh no, I've seen the videos, I've seen what they put in there. I'd like to see them survive on what's in an Altoids tin. This one's a little bit more advanced than that, in that this is actually a flint and steel. And I don't want to start a fire right now, so I have a wick to catch the sparks, but can you see the sparks coming off of that? Now, if
Give
this
one more.
If this rock wears out, you just need to find a rock that is harder than your steel. It doesn't have to be flint. Actually, this isn't flint. This is chert. I don't know. It's a rock. But I keep that in this little tin. This tin also can be and has...
The green one in there?
Yeah. That's tilted sideways. That's just another chunk of rock that's hard enough to strike. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to work. These bands that I'm holding these closed with, they're called Ranger bands. And what it is, no exaggeration, is you take an old inner tube from a bicycle tire and cut it into strips. And they're stronger than rubber bands, and if you really need something, they'll catch a spark and they will burn. Another good thing to have in your combustion kit, your fire kit, these are quick tenders. You take this, you can actually pull it apart and get 2, maybe even 3 fires out of each one of these. There's 4 in the package, but you fluff them up and they will catch a spark. This is a wet fire. It's a cube that you crumble and it'll catch a spark, same idea. And then there's ferro rods. Now I carry a ferro rod in my Leatherman case over here. I'm not going to pull it out because it's a pain in the butt to put back in. I've also got one right here. I've got ferro rods with me all the time, but ferro rods are a really good combustion tool. Having a couple of different ones in your kit is a good idea. I believe that certain items deserve redundancy, and fire making is one of them. Okay, moving away from ferro rods. Cover, or moving away from combustion device. Cover. Cover is your first line of attack for protecting yourself from the elements. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be expensive. This is a $1.50 emergency Mylar blanket. You wrap up in this, it will reflect up to 90% of your body heat back on you. That helps your core temperature. This is an emergency poncho. You can tie this into a lean-to if it's raining, or you can wear it if it's raining. This is a slightly better version of that Mylar blanket. It's thicker, it does a little bit better job, it's a little bit better at water resistance. This is made by SOL, which doesn't mean what people always think it does. It's Survive Outdoors Longer. That's the name of their company. This is also by SOL. This is a bivy sack. It's basically this in a sleeping bag form. Now, this is not going to be a comfortable use it every time you go sleeping or every time you go camping. This is your emergency. I'm cold, I'm wet. It's a Mylar blanket in sleeping bag form. But this one, because you get fully inside of it, does a better job of reflecting your body heat and maintaining your core temperature. This is actually from Walmart. It's outdoor products. This is a 5-foot by 7-foot tarp, and it can very easily be set up into several different configurations for 1 or 2 people. It's to protect you from rain, it's to protect you from wind. This is 2 3 mil thick 50-gallon garbage bags, industrial garbage bags. The laying down on bare, damp earth is more dangerous than not having something over the top of you, no matter what the weather conditions, because the earth is a heat sink and it will suck the heat out of you. It can be 50 degrees, which normally you'd think, hey, this isn't bad. But if you're wet, the ground's wet, and you're laying on the ground, it will suck enough heat out of you to make you hypothermic. What you do with these is something called a browse bed. You fill these up with leaves and debris and then lay on top of them. It's an insulating layer between you and the earth. 2 of these will make a bed big enough for 2 people to lay on side by side. You put them end to end and lay cuddled up on them. But those are a great thing to have, and they don't take a lot of room. Okay, the next one is container. There is a lot of contention over what containers are best. The problem is the more expensive the better it is, it kind of starts becoming expensive. Now, I brought this one specifically to show you what not to get. This was a gift from a friend of mine, and I hardly ever use it simply because this is double walled. If you try to heat things up in this, it will explode because it's got a vacuum. There's two bottles here with the connecting, or the space between them is vacuumed. I'm not talking very well today.
Vacuum insulation
vacuum
goes boom in fire.
Yeah, you put this in fire and it has a really high chance of rupturing, leaking, causing lots of problems. We don't want that.
Very easy to tell with this brand. It's got a seam around the bottom.
Yeah, that's Clean Canteen, but when you buy it, it'll say vacuum insulated or it won't. My favorite is a Clean Canteen stainless steel bottle. And I'm actually kind of sad because this one used to be black to about here. And our in-home support services for me being disabled scrubbed it clean one day. And that made me sad. But take the plastic cap off of this and I can set this directly in a fire to boil water. We'll get to why we need to boil water in just a minute. With your bottle, it's always good to have a stainless steel cup. Again, I can boil water in this, I can cook food in this, and I can drink the hot stuff out of it. And they nest together, and they'll go inside of a bottle bag, which we'll discuss in just a minute. But if you don't want to spend that much money, because these bottles are expensive, I have 2 different styles of the cup here. This one's a little bit deeper, it costs a little bit more. But it doesn't matter which one you get. I like this one because if I'm having tea, I want to have tea. I don't want to have tea, I want to have tea. So I like the deeper ones mostly. Now in the bottle bag, you can actually put 2 cups. So now I have one to make my tea and one to make my food. And I still have my bottle. But this right here, this is a GSI. I got it from Walmart for $4 and something. This is a $2 34-ounce plastic water bottle. This one is 40. The stainless one here is 40. They come in, I've seen 32, 38, 40, 64. The 64-ounce ones are really heavy and they don't fit in the nesting bottles. The 30 and the 40, or 32 and 40, Both fit in the nesting cups really well. This one you can't put in the fire, but hey, you got the cup. You can still boil the water. Why do we need to boil water? To purify it. If you take water out of a natural source in the woods, wherever, in North America, you have a really unhappy chance of getting something like Cryptosporum or Giardia. I think I said both of those wrong. But they're little bugs that will give you the trots, and that is not something you want if you're stuck out in the woods. That's not something you want if you're stuck in your house. Boiling the water kills everything. If you're going to do that, we're going to use another item that's further down the list to put over the bottle when you're collecting the water, so that it filters out the gunk, chunky stuff before you boil it. Only use your bottle to collect water if you're about to boil it in the bottle. I do not use this one to collect the water because it's plastic, I can't boil it. I would collect the water in the cup, boil it, let it cool down, and then pour it in the bottle. That gives me a way of having repeatable water. If you're in an area that you can't boil the water because you're not allowed to have fires or it's not safe to have fires, there are 100 different kinds of water filters on the market. This one is by Renovo. Where's that Dr. Pepper bottle?
In the van.
Okay. This one, you can set this into a water source, drink from the straw directly. It's got a little tube on the bottom that you can put, I have some tubing, but it's in my other bag, that you can put that on there and drop that down into a crevice to be able to drink from further away. The Sawyer Mini comes with collapsible bags that are for collecting the dirty water, so do some of the other ones, and you can buy several different kinds of them. All of those bags are threaded the exact same as a pop bottle. Actually, I have a pop bottle right here. I can't screw that onto there right now because it's not open, and two, it's Diet Coke, and that would mess up my filter. But the threads on these match the threads on these. So I could, if this was empty, I could use this to collect my dirty water, put the bandana over it before so I don't get chunky stuff in there. This will screw onto there, and then I can tip that up and drink straight from it. This filter will take out 99.9% of all of those bugs that will give you the diarrhea. We already discussed we don't want diarrhea. Well, I don't want diarrhea, I'm not going to judge if that's your thing, but not my thing. And the next item on the list, because we're going to just move away from that as quickly as we can, is cordage. Now, again, there's 100 different kinds of cordage. Cordage is rope, mostly. Bushcrafters and hikers and people who are military veterans like myself, we like paracord. Paracord is very useful. This is a paracord donut. If you're watching this, then you know where my channel is, and a couple of years ago I did a video on how to make paracord donuts. This is the 550 cord. This is the 7-strand 550. Hundreds and hundreds of uses for this stuff, including as starting a fire. If you cut off a small piece of it, pull the strands out, fluff them up, they'll catch a spark from a ferro rod. If you don't want the bulk and weight of this, this is the mini paracord, which isn't really paracord, it just kind of looks like it. This has a 275 pound strength, where this has 550 pound strength. This is over 200 feet of cord. This is a lot of rope. It started out at 300, I think it's down to about 260. But it bulked a little bit, but that's a hell of a lot of rope, and if you're just tying things together, making ridge lines, tying together a shelter, that's more than enough strength. If you have paracord, make sure you do have a Bic lighter, even if that's not your main way of starting fires, because you want to burn the ends of it so it doesn't fray. I've never put this in a kit, but it's some rope I had in the garage. But this is just 1/4 inch, 50-foot poly rope. It can do the same things as paracord. It's just bulkier and it's a little bit harder to tie a knot in. This is 250 feet of mason's line. Think kite string, but a little bit stronger. Okay? Does it say what the breaking strength on this is? Of course not, because that would be convenient. But this stuff is strong enough to make a shelter out of. It is strong enough to repair your backpack. That's another thing the cordage is good for. If the strap breaks on your backpack, you can tie it together. It's strong enough for most of the tasks you're going to need. You can double it up if you feel you need to. But there's a lot of it there, and that's a small package. And also added in with cordage, I'm going to put in 10 zip ties. Little things like if the only thing that happened to your backpack was the buckle broke, a zip tie will fix that. If you need to attach something to your pack because it won't fit in it or it fell off, a zip tie will quite often do that. So these are really handy to have. That covers cordage. That's the first 5 right there. Now, with those 5 things, your chances of making it through a bad situation have gone up substantially. Now we're going to go to the second 5 on the list. The first item in the second half is a candling device. Candling devices are something that give you light. Now, every day I have a flashlight that I carry on the side of my shirt. You could also get something like these. Now this one is an A-Tactical A1. This was $20 and came with a battery. And one of the nice features about this one is the battery. There are some that you plug in a USB cord to the flashlight. A-Tactical, you actually plug a USB. Hey Jack, take that up and see if you can get that in shot. You plug the USB into the battery. Now, that is cool, but I actually prefer being able to plug it into my light instead of the battery. And diggity, 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 diggity. I was organized once, it hurt, I stopped. But this light gives you the option of having a lot of different levels, and a lot of the ones like this have a strobe function, which if you're trying to signal for help is very beneficial. What the hell is my flashlight? There it is. The one that I carry in my chair, this is made by Fenix, and it actually has a USB port in the side of the light so that I can recharge it that way. This one's USB-C, so I have to carry a USB-C for that. Again, the amount of light that these produce, I mean, this is daytime. And look at that. I mean, most times you see flashlights, they're like, this is how bright it is at night. This is how bright it is in the daytime. So this will genuinely light up your path. Another option, and in the woods, this is the option I prefer, is a headlamp. A lot of different price ranges, a lot of different features on them. I like this particular one. It's a Browning, I always forget the name of it, Nitro. And what I like about this one is it's got a setting for high, for low. Let me turn it on. So you got green and you got red. Green is good for finding blood, and red is good for reading maps at night, because USGS maps react to red light and make them easier to see. That's lighting that up good. And then, as I said, it's got high and low, and it also has a lockout position on the switch, so that even if I turn it on, nothing happens. This is a much cheaper light, but it works. And both of them, they angle a little bit, but a headlamp makes it so that you have your hands free and you can still do things if you're trying to make something to eat or purify some water, or even just like find something in your pack at night. Being able to point the light at it where you're looking and have your hands free is really good. The next item is cotton cloth. Now, the easiest, cheapest, quickest form of cotton cloth are bandanas. I have a bandana in my back pocket right now. I always do. As I said before, you can cover the bottles when you're getting water out of a source, like a creek or whatever, to filter out chunky stuff. And it'll also catch like slime and stuff. It'll prevent the things that you really don't want in your filter or in your cup after you boiled it from being there. You can upgrade this to a Shemagh if you have the room. Now this, if you've never used a Shemagh, these are actually used in the Middle East and in desert arid regions as head covers. They help to keep dust and stuff out of your mouth and nose if you're in the desert. There's a lot of dust blowing around sometimes. You can wet these and put them around your neck. Same with the bandanas. If you're overheated, you can wet them and wrap them over your head or around your neck to bring your temperature down. If you're cold, you can put it around your neck and tuck it into your jacket to keep the cold air from going down your jacket and also to keep it off of your neck and off of your throat. You can put them over your head to keep the sun off of you. You can use, even the bandanas, you can use them in a first aid, as a compress, as a bandage. You can make a sling out of them. If you're using bandanas, I recommend two, because if you're trying to make a sling, you're going to have to tie the two of them together, because most people, it'd be up like this if it was doing one with a sling, because it's too small. But good cotton cloth, there are 100 different uses for them. The next one is, I should have worn my glasses. Compass. Why didn't I wear my glasses? I keep my compass in here for this kit to protect it. Again, Ranger Band holds it closed. I've got a compass. The little cord that came on my compass broke, so I just grabbed one off of a flashlight that came, because I don't put these on flashlights. But this is a Suunto? Yeah. This is just a Suunto compass. It has a rotating bezel, so you can set the direction that you need to go. What you want to do is, there's an arrow side, and then there's a back house. It's called a dog house. And you want to rotate this until the tail, or your south, is in the doghouse. And then when you're setting your direction, you can then see what number you've got here, and you always want to line it up, so as long as the south is in the doghouse, you're pointing it the same way you were when you looked where you were going, and then you can know that you're going the right direction by going in the number. Some people will, instead of doing that, rotate it so that the arrows are pointing in the direction they want to go, and then north points to north, and you just follow your arrows. I prefer the doghouse method. But any compass, I know a lot of people use button compasses. I am not going to trust my safety to something the size of a dime that may or may not work. A decent Suunto compass or a Brunton or something like that is going to run you, depending on which model, between $20 and hundreds of dollars. It's based on what your budget is. Whatever that budget is, it works. I'm going to back up for 1 second because I forgot something. Also in candling, a couple of light sticks. If you get lost, and you just want to have some light around where you're set up, something that maybe someone else can see from a distance, you pop a light stick and hang it from a branch over your head. It will light up the area a little bit and makes you very visible to anyone that's looking for you.
Green tends to last the longest, blues are the brightest.
Correct. Okay, cargo tape. There's a lot of different kinds of cargo tape. Cargo tape is basically duct tape. Now, a 1-inch roll, you can put multiple pieces together to make it wider. If you get a hole in your bag, a hole in your jeans, if you get a boo-boo that is wider or longer than your any bandages you have with you, you can make something with duct tape. And a 1-inch roll is easier to work with than the 2 or even 2.5-inch rolls. And it's smaller, it's easier to carry. If for some reason you can't find, or you're like me and happen to be broke that week, month, year, decade, whatever, this is electrical tape. This is actually dollar store electrical tape. It will do what this will do, just maybe not as well. But when I was younger and doing in the military, we used to call electrical tape Mand-Aids, because you cut your finger, throw electrical tape on it, and good to go. You cut your arm, electrical tape, good to go. So something like this, now like I said, this is Gorilla brand, but other companies make it. There's a lot of good brands. But something like this is your better option. Something like this will get you through, but having that roll of tape can make a big difference. The next thing is a canvas needle. Now, if you've got paracord, you've got 7 strands of small rope or small cordage inside your paracord. If you have clothing or equipment that get torn, I've got 2 different sizes of needle here, and you can show them up a little bit closer, just don't drop them. And there's a lot of different ways of carrying those. Some people will use some of the cargo tape and stick them to the back of their knife. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. Since I'm tucking it into a kit anyway, I found these little vial things with a plastic lid. And those will hold a couple of needles, no problem. But any kind of equipment repair that you have to do, and the reason to get a canvas needle or a sail needle if you can't find a canvas needle, they're a lot thicker, they're a little bit blunt, so you're going to have to push harder, but they also have really big eyes, so you can get the strands from paracord or even fishing line or something like that. If you've got that, you can get that inside of them easier.
If you're looking for those containers and having a hard time finding them, one way to find something similar would be a children's science kit specimen collection.
I hadn't thought of that. I got those on Amazon. I got a bag of them for like $4. I had like half a dozen of them or something for like $4. That is the 10Cs. Now there are things to add to that depending on the bag space you have and the amount of weight you're willing to carry. The first one that I would suggest adding is calories. No, I'm not saying bring this whole thing. This is actually from my wheelchair kit. There's a panel on the back of my wheelchair that is a 72-hour kit. I can take my wheelchair into the woods and survive, no problem. But for calories, it can be something as simple as some granola bars. Now you can live 3 weeks without eating. You will not be happy after the 3rd day, but you can live for 3 weeks. So the calories are not to make you survive the night or survive 2 days. The calories are to give you the energy you need to take care of business. And they're also, if you're hungry, down deep in the gut, growling hungry, your mood drops. These will keep you motivated. Now, in here I got some granola bars. I got Hormel pepperoni sticks. There's 2 sticks in each one of these. These are outstanding. Sometimes I get just regular beef jerky. This is non-refrigerated, ready to eat, already has everything you need in it to go. Chicken salad meat. With my chair kit, when I am going out in the woods, I'll throw 4 or 5 tortillas in there because tortillas don't smush up like bread, and they also last longer than bread without going bad. And then I can scrape that out into a tortilla and have myself a meal. Another good thing to carry, and you've got the cups to boil the water and to cook it, oatmeal, cream of wheat, something like that, because they've got good calories, they've got good energy, they're carbohydrates, so they will help you build energy, quick energy.
Instant mashed potatoes.
Instant mashed potatoes are really good. They last for a long time. You can squish them down a little bit, shove them in the bag, they're good to go. This is a 400 calorie apple cinnamon food bar emergency 5-year shelf life emergency rescue food. I don't carry a lot of these because they're kind of expensive and they're not the best tasting things in the world. But those are just some calorie suggestions. Also, just for you to snack on while you're walking anyway, but be a little conservative, have a little extra, some granola, some gorp, some nuts, dehydrated fruit, anything like that can be of a benefit. Now we've covered 11 of the 10 C's, other than intended purpose. Yeah, we've covered 11 of the 10 C's. Now we're going to cover a couple of things that might just make things a little easier. You've got the means to make a small shelter. 4 little aluminum, 89-cent a piece aluminum stakes make it a lot easier, a lot quicker to put up a shelter, especially if it's already having bad weather. If you're lost or hurt, it is a proven fact that a whistle travels up to 10 times as far as a human voice with 1/3 the air and energy expended to make the noise. So having a little whistle in your kit can save your butt. My pen, if I take the lid off of my pen, it actually has a whistle in the cap. The international I am needing help whistle is 3 1-second whistles. Take a pause. 3 1-second. Don't worry about long, short, SOS. Forget that. Just tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet, tweet. And repeat that about every minute. And this, I almost need this today. This is a Pure Tea comfort item that I keep one of these in a couple of different kits all the time because I hate mosquitoes. And I really hate mosquitoes on my face. Also, if you wear this when you're sleeping, it doesn't interfere with your breathing at all. It's easy, it's comfortable. I can see just as good as before I put it on. But while I'm asleep, it'll keep mosquitoes and flies and crap like that from my eyes, my nose, my mouth. This is made by Coughlin's or Coghlan's. Nobody knows how to say that damn thing. It's the cheap brand of stuff that you find in the... This is our camping section in stores that shouldn't have a camping section. I think I paid like $3 for this thing. It shoves into this little pouch. It weighs less than an ounce. And I tell you, on days when there's a lot of bugs, I will pull this out, and I don't care if people can see me or not. I'll walk around with this, or ride around with this damn thing on my head, because I hate bugs in my face. And I for certain wear this when I'm sleeping outdoors. Even if I don't see anything when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, I will put this on when I'm sleeping because I know that them bugs home in on. Yes, I know. I had a 4 head, then it went to a 5 head. I'm working on a 6. But now I said that I was. Oh, there's one other thing that I really, really recommend to anyone that's doing any hiking, even if you're just walking in the city park. A little first aid kit. Now, this is not a trauma kit. Some people will tell you they can put a trauma kit in this. I disagree. Trauma kits are bigger than this. This is an advanced boo-boo kit. I can cover fairly decent bleeding problems. Scratches, stings, bites, things like that. I've got bandages. I actually do have a tourniquet in here. I've got gauze. I've got band-aids. I've got a ace bandage. I've got several of these moist wipes. If you got dirt around a cut and you're trying to clean that cut up, these will help clean that cut up. They can also be used for other things if the need arises and there doesn't happen to be a handy-dandy gas station bathroom nearby. I also have a pair of trauma shears that are rounded so that if I have to expose a wound, if somebody gets a wound, say in the middle of their thigh, and I have to expose that wound to know what to do with it, these are shaped so that I can cut their pants off without cutting their skin. I use a little bit of elasticord, bungee cord, to hold them in place so that I don't lose them. Now, that brings me to a very important point that is very near and dear to my soul. You can have the best, most expensive, high-tech gear in the world, and if you don't know how to use it, it is worthless. Before you walk around with a first aid kit, learn a little bit of first aid. Before you put a tourniquet in your kit, specifically learn how, why, and when to use a tourniquet. If you're going to carry a ferro rod, but you don't know how to use a ferro rod, it's not going to help. Anything, even knife skills. Learn and practice some knife skills before you go walking around with a knife on your belt. It's not going to help you if you don't know how to use it. But anyway, I said I was going to pack this kit. Now, there is a tall cup exactly like the one that's in there already in this pouch. This water bag is a little bit on the new side, so it's a little hard to get it out, but it is in there. So I've got 40 ounces of water. I don't think 2 talls will fit in here. Nope, 2 talls won't fit in there. That's why I've never put 2 talls in there at the same time. I've got 40 ounces of water. And yeah, see, this one's been in the fire a few times. And 2 cups. I've already got my first aid kit on the other side. That's stevia to go with my tea because I am diabetic. We're going to put a fire kit in here. I'll leave the stevia out because it's not part of the 10 Cs. And then in this same part with the fire kit, I'm going to tuck in these. That's why I get the short ones. They fit inside the pouch, the stakes. And I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of the light sticks in there. That's that. Now, inside my bag, I'm going to put the tarp. I'm going to forget what I'm doing. My tape can go in the bottom. My Shimog goes in there. My water filter. This has a little back pocket here. You have to pull these out to get to. I'm going to put my 2 garbage bags right there. And yeah, these are a little bit difficult to get in and out, but the garbage bags you're really not going to be using unless you need them. Oh, one item that is extremely important in my first aid kit that I never hear people talking about. And I don't want to dig it out of there, so I will grab the one that's on my... Jack, come help me here. Find my tick key. Should be right around here somewhere. See it?
There it is.
You never hear anybody talk about these, but a tick key, if you get a tick, it's got a flat side and a recessed side. You set that with the recessed side up. You set it over the head of the tick, and then you slide into it. And that will pull the whole thing out and get that thing off of you, hopefully before anything like Lyme disease shows up. Also on this, I've got a backup ferro rod. And a Leatherman Micra, which has a pair of scissors, which comes in handy. This isn't part of the C's, this is part of my everyday carry. But inside my first aid kit, I do have one of these, and these are so important, and I never hear anyone talking about them. Okay, now, for kindling, I'm going to use my headlamp. And will it fit in here? Yes, it will. I'm going to put my headlamp where I can get to it quickly if I need it. See, what have we got not in here? Ah, my whistle. I'm going to put the this has a little front pouch, and in the front pouch, oh, there's already a whistle in the front pouch. So yes, see? A little whistle in my front pouch. See, I've got combustion, cover, container, cordage. Huh?
Side note. Once you're heading out, you should probably just have the whistle around your neck in case you fall.
That's one of the reasons why I keep my one in my pocket. Strap, put the donut through there. Now this donut will just sit on top of my first aid kit. That's my cordage. I got candling in there. I've got cotton in there because I put the Shimog. My compass. I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to put it in this front pocket so I can get to it quickly and easily. Okay, I already put my cargo tape in there. My canvas needle could also fit in that little front pouch so I can get to it if I need it. Only thing missing now is calories, and I've still got quite a bit of space in here. I'm not going to pull them out of my kit, but I've got quite a bit of space in here. I could put, here we go. I got a meat stick, a Cliff Bar, and a
Energy bar.
energy bar. There's my calories. I'm going to go ahead and add the matches, even though I've got that other fire kit because it didn't have matches in it. And I'm going to go ahead and add, no, that fire kit had these in it. That's good to go. So everything from the 10 C's is in this pouch right here.
Funny part about this is a fairly average size cinch down bag.
I don't think you're very far into the camera there.
Fairly average size cinch down bag. I'm pretty sure you could just stuff that whole bag in this.
Yeah.
So,
but the entire contents would easily go in that. So my point on this is, having this gear. Now this whole thing weighs. I'm a fairly good judge of weight. Let me close this up. This entire package, including my water bottle, is full of water, so that's 40 ounces of water. Probably looking at about 6 pounds here. It's less than a gallon of milk. Okay? Maybe 7 pounds, I don't know. Some days I'm more accurate than others. You're going to say, but you didn't put your cutting tool in there. You're right. All of these cutting tools have ways to put them on a belt, because that's where your cutting tool goes, is on your belt. Even if I lost this, I would still have a cutting tool. And because I like to have fire steels on my cutting tools, I've got a knife and fire right here. And this would be on my belt. So this is how you can carry the 13 C's? The 10 C's plus an augmented kit. You can carry in this little thing, and this has a single strap. You just throw this around your shoulder. You put that around your shoulder and get so that you're in frame.
That didn't help.
Now, like I said, the best equipment in the world does you absolutely no good unless you know how to use it. So not only learn how to do the stuff, but take the exact pieces of equipment you're carrying into the woods and get comfortable with how to use them. Even if those woods are your backyard, learn how to use them, how to be comfortable with them. And as funding becomes available, you can upgrade the quality, which might downgrade the weight some. Actually, a lot of the things that the more expensive they are, the less they weigh. Like you start going to titanium, that's going to weigh less. But you can upgrade the quality. You can modify things. It's like, well, I need this more than I need that, so get better or more of. But that is a basic list just to get you started out the door. Thank you very much. Get out in the woods, have some fun. This went longer than I meant it to. How long has this been? I started rambling. I'm sorry. I really didn't intend it being this long.
Almost an hour.
Oh, damn. Turn that thing off. Bye.